All right, it looks like it has finally started. So we will go ahead and get training started for today. Today's topic is volunteer roles and appreciation. I've kind of shared a post about this last week, just what the different shirts mean and stuff, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth on some of these things today. So, when you guys come into orientation your very first time, you guys are able to get your blue shirt. That blue shirt is the entry level shirt. And it is for anyone who is new or has less than 99 hours of service since we started the Orange Shirt Initiative. And I think we started the Orange Shirt Initiative in summer of last year. So I have only been tracking those total hours since we started that program, which is why some of you may have exceeded 100 hours of volunteer time since you started coming in to HSMBA. However, it wasn't tracked properly. Well, maybe that's not the right way to say it. It wasn't tracked for this purpose until the orange shirt idea came to be. So, since those orange shirts arrived, yes, that is what I'm counting from. This is not, in a single year, this is of all time. So, blue shirts are going to be everyone who has less than 99 hours of service since beginning, since the orange shirts. But this is typically what you will see most of the volunteers wearing at this time. So it is important that when you guys are volunteering, whether it's within the shelter at an event, you guys make sure you wear your blue shirts, because wherever you're at is an opportunity for people to see you, take an interest, wondering how they can volunteer, or just learning about the shelter in general. We have a lot of newcomers to this area, so letting our name get out there and increasing our public image so that people can come in, adopt these pets, and get them out a lot quicker. So, and you'll see in the photo here, Mateo. He absolutely loves when the shirts come in. I don't know if it's the new shirt smell, if it's the box, I don't know. Um, but all of your shirts do come pre-cat haired for your convenience, and hopefully nobody has a terrible cat allergy, because I cannot tell you which shirts are contaminated by Mateo and which ones aren't. He likes the orange shirts as well, so he doesn't have a preference as long as it's your guys' volunteer shirts. So with the orange shirts, that promotes you into senior volunteer status, which we have had some volunteers suggest that we change that, because it does make it seem like those are for senior citizens, and I see that now. So once all these orange shirts get used up, we can look at changing the name to something different. Any ideas welcome. But for the time being, senior shirts, this is for 100 hours of service. Again, this is since about middle of last year. So this is ongoing. So when I track your guys' hours, I'm tracking it in a couple of ways. Each month, I am tracking your monthly numbers, because those totals are going to show me from month to month the differences in volunteer time versus the previous year. And that kind of helps me see that we are improving. We're not declining in service, things like that. I'm also adding it to year to date, and that is going to let me see the overall total for the year. And then, of course, my third tracking system is the orange shirts. And so that one is in no particular time frame except from the beginning of orange shirts. So that's how I keep everything in order. Um, if you guys are like, well, I feel like I've been there over 100 hours and you have not heard from me about collecting an orange shirt, you're either not receiving my emails, or you have a bad habit of signing out when you leave. And I don't see that very often, but those could be a couple issues. Um, Talking about the email a little bit, we do use a shelter program manager. And unfortunately, that does make it to where emails are marked as spam or just they don't even go in there at all. So if you are having issues with receiving emails, one way you're going to know is if you're not getting the weekly update email every single Wednesday. Unless we're closed or something is happening, maybe I'm doing orientations on a random Wednesday, you will always get that weekly update email on Wednesdays. Um, if I have to change that for some crazy reason, it'll be on a Tuesday, but you will get that every single week unless I'm, you know, off for a vacation or sabbatical or something of that nature. So, um, I'm constantly tracking these. I let you know right away. So you will get that email once you hit your 100 hours. Now, for lead volunteers, these are different than our senior volunteers. Okay, senior volunteers, they just get to wear that badge of honor of having collected 100 plus hours. They have the orange shirt. Lead volunteers do not have their own type of shirt just because we don't have very many of them. And I only have so much of a budget. So unfortunately, there cannot be a third shirt. If there was, I wouldn't have room to store it either. So unfortunately, we just have the two shirts. Leads do not get a special shirt, unfortunately, but I believe every single one of these individuals is an orange shirt, with the exception of Danny, and I'll explain more on her in a minute. But at this current time, these are our lead volunteers. So Ben Winston has been with us for a very long time. He is our lead offsite volunteer. So his position has him making sure that any cats that we have housed, whether it's at Tomlinson's or Pet Supplies Plus, he is making sure that those kennels are always filled with cats and that volunteers are signing up to care for them every single day in the morning and in the evening. Um, in the weekly updates, in your welcome email, if you just recently went through orientation, and also I believe there's posts on social media, maybe even some recent ones. There is that link to sign up for volunteering at Pet Supplies Plus. So when you volunteer over there, it's a little bit different than the shelter. They do have extended hours. If you have found that you are having a hard time getting into the shelter to volunteer because you don't get off work till 5, we close at 5, whatever the case is, or if you live nearby Pet Supplies Plus, you guys are welcome to volunteer over there. Once you sign up, or if you choose to message Ben prior to signing up, what he's going to do is meet up with you at the store. He's going to show you where all the supplies are, the food, the cat litter, everything. Show you how to take care of them and everything. And then the sign up is very broad. It's not a specific time necessarily, but you can again do that morning shift or that evening shift, and he'll tell you everything you need to know about the cats over there. There is no sign up sheet over there. So typically what my volunteers over there will do is send me their hours at the end of each month. Or if they only go in maybe once or twice a month, they'll just after they finish up, they'll send me those hours real quick. It keeps you active in the system. It's very convenient if you happen to live in that area, or if you want to do something later in the evening after 5 p.m. Our lead event volunteer right now is Cassidy Stewart, again, another long timer that we have at the shelter. She is in charge of ensuring that most of the events have a lead available, which at this time it is just her, so I certainly can't expect her to attend all the events based on her schedule. I am actively looking for more lead event volunteers. This position is basically just ensuring that we always have a lead at events. You do not have to attend every event, But when you are attending an event, you're kind of taking on the lead role. Any new volunteers, you're helping them to understand how to do things, how to answer questions, just kind of getting them used to doing events for our facility, whether it's an outreach event, an adoption event, whatever. Cassidy's been doing this so long, a lot of times she will do events by herself. If it's something like an outreach, just sharing information to the public. Other times, if it's a little bit bigger of event, Zach, who is our director of outreach, he will be at events with you guys too as well. So you will see her a lot at events and around the shelter from time to time. And then our lead canine volunteers, that's going to be Miss Ann, Chris, Danny, Kim, Paul, and Trina. So these guys, they are amazing with dogs, whether it's handling dogs, understanding canine behavior. I'm so sorry, there goes my dogs. Anyways, these guys are a great source of knowledge for the dogs when it comes to dogs that maybe have not ideal behaviors and things. They know what they're doing. They also assist Eric with any kind of behavior evaluations we need to do on newer dogs before we move them to the adoption kennels. So we want to make sure that everybody's safe, everybody's handleable. If they have resource guarding issues, things like that, we want to understand all those behaviors before we move them onto adoption side, so we're better knowledgeable, better prepared. So on this group here, Kim is actually Eric, our dog behavior and enrichment coordinator's spouse. So you'll see her oftentimes around the shelter, especially on playgroup days. And then Danny was one of our first playgroup volunteers, and while she doesn't get to make it out too often, she is just a tremendous source of information. She is truly a gift to our shelter. So Danny does spend half of her time in New Braunfels. The rest of the time she may be in Florida or traveling around the United States with Dogs Playing for Life, which is the organization that she actually works for. So in the beginning, she was extremely helpful in helping us get this program started. And kind of get an idea of how to run them safely and effectively. So while you might not see her all the time, she is a great, I'm sorry, my dog's growling. She is a great addition to our canine team. So oftentimes in adoption kennels, you may see a sign that says lead or staff or lead volunteers only on certain dogs. So what that means is that these 6 lead canine volunteers that you're seeing up here, those are the ones that are allowed to take out those dogs as well as staff. Those particular dogs are not bad dogs, but there's something that we're working on them with. Okay, so we're doing some kind of training with them, whether it's leash training or jumpy behaviors, mouthy behaviors. Their behaviors are naughty enough that we want to do extra training with them, and that is why we were keeping it to staff and leads, just so that we are doing consistent things with them and able to better monitor their progress. Okay, so once that sign is removed, that is totally fine, but when that sign is up, it is just the lead volunteers that are able to walk them, and that is not orange shirt volunteers, that's lead volunteers. So going into volunteer appreciation, once again, I kind of shared some of this info last week on social media. We kind of, when I'm tracking the hours, we kind of have a couple things going on. So not only do we have, once you hit 100 hours, you get your orange shirt, but in the current year, not all time, but current year, once you hit 25 hours of service, you are going to find your way onto the Volunteer Rockstar board. So this is mounted in the hallway above the water fountains. Um, the one for last year, 2025, is currently sitting next to me on my desk, and it will be mounted as soon as I go in a week from Saturday for orientations again. But you make your way onto this list. It's mounted for the whole world to see in the hallway at the shelter. And in addition to this, you are going to receive a certificate of recognition. And I also always send you guys at this point information on compassion fatigue. So last year, the last couple years, I sent out some compassion fatigue handouts, just kind of teaching you guys what it is, things to look for, stuff like that. This year, I'm sending out some tips to kind of make sure you don't get to the point of compassion fatigue. We don't see it quite as much in volunteers. We will see it in fosters more than volunteers. But I would say that the ones that are more involved with the dogs are the ones, and this is as far as volunteering, are the ones that are more likely to experience compassion fatigue. So, with that being said, I always send you guys resources for that because I want you to understand what it is first and foremost, be able to recognize it in yourself and in staff members. It's going to go a long way in helping you guys kind of understand just how difficult this can be, and also how to take care of yourself as best as possible, given that this is a very passionate topic that can be very emotional. So that is our 25 plus rock star board. And then every month we have the volunteer of the month. So volunteer of the month is selected by staff. We are looking at you. We are always watching. So this is not based on how many hours you have collected. Sometimes it is. I mean, sometimes we'll have someone that has 60 hours in a single month, but it's not just the hours. The hours are quite insignificant in compared to why they really received this. And this is people that are just going above and beyond. I mean, and they have stepped into a role and taken it on completely. These are some of our past winners here. Sometimes I will select two people if there's just two people that I absolutely cannot wait to honor for the month, that just were incredible. So could be anyone. In the past, we did give out gift cards in the beginning. After that, we had custom volunteer water bottles that we were handing out. More recently, we had HSMBA wine glasses that were given out. And this year, one of our volunteers donated some very, very nice appreciation gifts that I think you guys are really going to like. So starting in February, those will be going out to whoever's selected for Volunteer of the Month. And it's actually a couple things that we have to give away each month for Volunteer of the Month. So when you're selected for this, you do receive a certificate for Volunteer of the Month. And then these images that you're seeing here of past winners, that is what is mounted in the adoption hallway. We have them lining across the top of the hallway, so you guys can see all the winners since, I think, 2019 is when I first started doing it. And there's some breaks from COVID when we couldn't have volunteers in the shelter, but there's quite a few volunteers up there, and the majority that are up there are still with us today, clear since 2019, and so you'll probably recognize a lot of these guys. Very common question is, where are volunteers the most needed? This is probably one of the top questions I get during orientations or from newer volunteers. I understand that when you guys come in, some days are kind of quiet and you're like, okay, I see a lot of things that need to be done. Other times, you guys might come in, it's jam packed. All the dogs have been walked a couple times. You know, all the animals have been tended to, laundry is caught up with, dishes are caught up with. What am I supposed to do? So I'm going to kind of dive into some of those roles. So these are the roles that I have listed on the volunteer marker board. So we have our adoption ambassadors. Their goal is to get pets adopted as quickly as possible. We want to get these guys into homes, preferably the best home that is, the best fit for them, so that they have less risk of being returned. Now, as I talk about these various roles, I want you to understand that you do not have to pick a role and commit to that one role. You can pick and choose between multiple things. It is about whatever interest you the most. If you have certain skills in one area versus another area, go for it. However you feel you can best contribute to the shelter in one of these areas, absolutely do it. You guys get to pick and choose. You guys know your skill sets and what you're good at. So I want you to take initiative, and I want you to do whatever you'd like in the area you feel best. So adoption ambassadors are getting photos of the pets. Each week on Tuesday, I post the paparazzi list, and that's going to have all the dogs and cats in our system that either only have an intake photo, or they have a few photos, but we want to get some more. Recently, Zach, our director of outreach, he mentioned that the post, after going through his social media, looking at the data, the posts that have about 3 to 5 photos of a pet with some different backgrounds, so a kind of a variety of the pets, acting differently or in different areas, are the posts that get the most seen by the community. And this is going to be on our primary HSMBA volunteer page, not the volunteer one. Did I say volunteer? The main organization page, not the volunteer group. So the better the photo is, the faster they get adopted. This has been proven time and time again. It is a fact. And like I tell you guys in orientation, a lot of people are looking at these pets online before they ever come into the shelter. So if you have sent me pictures of a pet and then you see that the next week I have them listed again, there's nothing wrong with your photos. I probably just need more. It's probably been requested to have some in different areas. So no worries. We want all the good photos. They get uploaded to their file. If you send me them and I reply saying thank you, I'll upload it, and you go to the website and they're not on there, that is because they don't post till midnight that night. So I can put them in at 10 a.m., but you're not going to see them until the next day after they've posted. The next thing these ambassadors are helping with is pet forms. There are the paper forms. You can complete those and put them in the blue basket that's on the marker board, and I will log those to the pets file. Or you can scan the QR code. The QR code is right next to the volunteer sign-in sheet. It's also on the back of the door in Adoption Dogs. So you don't even have to come into the shelter to fill those out. Just scan the back of the door, and 10 seconds you can submit a personality report. Good things, bad things, likes, dislikes, health notes, all that stuff. Super quick, goes straight to the pet's profile. The next thing, and I actually just had someone ask me about this, and I was so excited that she did. If you're taking photos and videos of the pets, I'm not able to add videos into their profile online. I can only put photos. So share those videos. You can share them into the volunteer group, and that way we can use them if we want to promote them. Maybe we have a dog on the focus list and we want to create a social media post. We can certainly use those videos for that. But in general, you guys don't need permission to share photos and videos of the pets. I don't care if you plaster your social media with that. That is fantastic. You guys are going to branch out to an even wider audience and let more and more people see who's in the shelter. Really focus on those ones too that have been there for quite a while. Let me think of somebody. Roxy. Roxy's been with us quite a while now, Princess Fiona. So, you know, dogs like that or cats that you've kind of seen hanging around for a little while, those are the best ones. And then also showing guests around adoption areas. If someone comes in, they're first timers or they're not sure where to go, you're more than welcome to show them around. If you're familiar with the pets, please talk about them. Tell them, you know, your experiences. If they want to take out a dog for a walk, absolutely. Get in there, leash that dog up, take the dog out for them. And you can either then pass the leash off to them or you can take it into a play yard for them to meet them, whatever they feel comfortable with. But yeah, absolutely help these guys feel comfortable, help them get excited about the different kind of pets we have to offer. For our animal care volunteers, that mission is to make sure that all the pets are as happy as possible. They're staying healthy and well cared for during their stay with us. So this can be doing things like coming in the mornings before noon, teaming up with an animal care tech, helping them feed and water everybody. You know, with dogs, we really don't ask you to do any of the cleaning of the messes, just refilling waters, giving them their food bowls, taking them into the play yards or on a walk while they get their kennel cleaned, things like that. For cats, a lot of people that help with the cats have no problem wiping down the kennels. It's usually not terribly messy considering they're actually using litter boxes. But it could be scooping litter boxes, it could be just feeding and watering or adding toys to everyone's kennels. It's pretty easy, but there's a lot of pets. So that is our number one need, is getting people to volunteer to help in the mornings with animal care. It is definitely where we fall the shortest with help, and I think that just has a lot to do with work and school schedules, which is totally understandable. But if you really, really want to help out in an area and you're available in the mornings, that is our number one need. So, also, especially on days when a lot of animals have got adopted, if they've gotten adopted, you guys are more than welcome to pull the laundry out of there, take it to the laundry room, take out their dishes and toys, and take them back to be cleaned. Just clear the entire kennel out. And then that way, when the techs come over to disinfect it, all they have to do is clean it. They don't have to worry about pulling all that stuff out and getting behind. If it's already empty, they just clean it. They can move another pet over immediately. That gives the new pet a much sooner time to get seen by the public. So we want to move these guys quickly as possible once someone's adopted. Refilling pet water in the afternoons. They're pretty good this time of year, but in summer, even though they have several water bowls in there, they will go through all of it. So just using the watering cans out there right through the kennel door. You don't even have to go into the kennel. Fill all of those up. And then, of course, our dog groups and enrichment. That's a huge way to make sure that the dogs, especially, can stay for as long as they need to stay without having any types of behavior issues come up or starting to mentally deteriorate. So we have the dog play groups Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 11:30. On Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11:30, it's going to be pack walks. So every day we're getting these dogs out of their kennels for a couple hours, and we're grouping them up, letting them socialize. Now, our dog behavior team, which is going to be Eric and Calvin, they are the ones that run those two programs, and they will be out there with you, but everybody else is all volunteers. I wish we had enough staff to be able to do that fun stuff, but unfortunately, we just don't. So that's where you guys come in. You get to do the fun stuff and watch these guys act like goofballs out there. Definitely take advantage of it if it's something you're interested in. If you want more information on it, if you have any questions about the dog stuff, you can email Eric at gooddogs at hsmba.org. So GODDOGS at hsmba.org. He'll answer any questions you have, and he's also a great resource for any training tips or behavior knowledge, anything like that. Afternoon safaris is just making sure that we get all the dogs out on adoption side at the very least to make sure they get those afternoon potty breaks before closing. And then every day, Monday through Friday at 12, we're doing enrichment prep. Eric preps all the enrichment for the week for the dogs. It could be filling Kongs, it could be making, some bark box puzzles, things like that in the break room. So if you guys are interested in that, that's always a really fun one. Very kid friendly. If you're homeschooling, that's a fun one for kids. Kids love prepping the DIY enrichment that we do. And he can always use more hands because you got to keep in mind we might have 100 dogs that need enrichment puzzles. So it definitely takes up a little bit of time there. And then, of course, our unicorn volunteers. Those guys are helping with the very, very crucial task that a lot of people try to avoid uh, through no fault of anybody's, I might add. But just making sure to stay on top of laundry, on top of dishes. With the laundry, in case you guys haven't seen all my posts and emails, we do have a sign up. It is for a morning shift and an afternoon shift. So I don't care on morning, I don't care what time you come in as long as it's before noon. For afternoon shift, just make sure it's after 12 o'clock. That way you guys can spread out the task. You don't have to stay the whole time. You don't have to come in and sit in the laundry room the whole time. Even if you just want to start a load, switch a load, put a load away while you're already visiting there, even if you're not signed up for that shift, just we got to keep those machines going. So this is Miss Patty Tucker in the photo in the middle for laundry there, and she's amazing. But obviously it's an older photo because you see we had not gotten the industrial set yet. But even with that industrial machine, it's still bad. I don't want it to get into the hallways again like it did a month or two ago. So let's really try and stay on top of that. Also, if you want to be a unicorn, this is one of my number one frustrations. And I think it's because I'm very tidy, so to speak. All of the clutter that's going down hallways, whether it's donations that haven't been put away, empty cardboard boxes. If you guys see some of that and you happen to be headed to the feed room, or you're taking empty kennels out to Sallyport area outside, take some of that stuff with you, get it put away wherever it needs to go. The more cluttered it is, the more overwhelming it feels. It doesn't look good to guests that are coming in when we have piles of donations. And I mean, donations are amazing, obviously, and it's what keeps us going. But we really need to keep things tidy. Not only are we going to have pets walking past those, and now we have little fomites all over the place with germs. We want to keep things tidy, organized, put where it needs to go. It helps us know how much of whatever item we have, makes it look better, reduces the overwhelm because we're not suffocating in all the stuff. So please help keeping donations put away, keeping the hallways cleared. You guys know how that hallway gets when it's busy. It's hard enough trying to navigate around people, but when you're having to move around boxes and stacks of pet beds and things, it increases the stress. So definitely try and help with those areas as much as you can. Also, to kind of add on to this, just making sure that the coffee bar room and the get to know you room are staying tidy as well. So and the feed room. So when you're putting away donations, please put them on shelves or where they go. rather than just getting them to the room and leaving there, because oftentimes it gets left. Somebody might not get a chance to go back and actually put it on the shelf. So try to do it in one go around, getting it in the correct room and in the right area in that room, so we can kind of keep things tidy. Now, on Sundays and holidays when we're closed, yes, volunteers can come into the shelter. However, it is not a free-for-all. We are closed to the public. So on Monday, I need to update the sign up because I honestly forgot. I forgot that we were closed on this coming Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but I'll be adding that. That time frame starts at 8 a.m. Okay, so at 8 a.m. on Sundays and holidays is when the animal care team comes into the shelter to make sure that all the pets are fed, watered. If they have made a mess, they'll clean that up, but really it's a quick clean, feeding, watering, and then ideally they need to be out of the shelter by 12 o'clock. So depending on how many pets we have, that time can fluctuate slightly, but it's usually about a 4-hour block. Now, the reason it's not completely open for volunteers to come in at any time is simply because the gate is closed to prevent people coming in to try and own or surrender a pet or reclaim a pet, because there is no one at the front desk. Okay, so that gate is probably going to be closed at about 8:15 a.m. And once that gate is closed, it stays closed until everybody's ready to leave at once, and then they'll open the gate and let everybody out. So there's nobody at the front desk, which means nobody's there to open and close that gate. The techs aren't even going to know that anybody's out there. So when you come in, this is sign up only. We have 5 slots for volunteers available, and then we also have actually, I kept that off. So we have 5 slots available. Now, when you come in to help, you can either help with the quick cleans and the feeding and watering. You can wash dishes, you can wash laundry, or you can be walking dogs while their kennels are touched up and cleaned, getting everybody out for a potty break. But that's kind of the extent of it on Sundays and holidays, because again, we do have a short time frame that we need to get in and get out for the day. So that is something you guys can absolutely sign up for. If sometimes I'm asked if you can bring your kids, I'm fine with that. But if you are bringing a child 15 or under with you, go ahead and just do 1 slot, since they are not able to like remove pets from the kennels as well. And it'll just be you removing pets from the kennels. Go ahead and just sign up 1 slot. So 1 slot per 16 and up. That way we make sure we have plenty of people to walk dogs as needed. Other tasks that we're frequently going to have is repairs and maintenance. A lot of times we need help with welding gate latches or kennel doors, things like that. You never know which dog is going to actually be able to break metal on kennel doors. Could be admin task. We are going to unfortunately lose our celebration volunteer, the one who does the cards each month, because she is moving, but various admin tasks are usually available. You guys feel free to ask the front desk, what do you guys need help with today? It could be getting adoption packets together. It could be making copies or stapling papers together for go home packets, things like that. Who knows? But always double check with them, especially if you see them struggling. Donation collections. We have one happening today from Amazon. And it could be Pet Supplies Plus donating food. It could be a member of the community who wants to donate something that's maybe larger. It could be a large crate. It could be a large cat tree. Who knows? We'll usually have volunteers go out and pick those donations up. Or if it's something like a large amount of things, like from Amazon, sometimes I need a couple. Animal transport is a pretty common one, whether it is taking a pet to a different shelter. It could be taking wildlife over to Candelia. You never know. And notice I said animal transport, not dog or cat transport, because you never know what's going to come in. It could be domestic, it could be something else, it could be wildlife. If we have someplace we need to get them aside from our facility, out they go, and it's usually you guys that get the opportunity to transport them. It can also be transporting things to the recycling center. So we do recycle cans. You can bring your empty cans into us. We do have a metal container thing in the back of the shelter behind the building. We save all the cans. Once it's full, we can take those to the recycling center. So you guys are welcome to help with that, getting them to the recycling center, and then any money from those cans we put into the shelter. Trips to Goodwill or the dump. Currently in need someone to take some old couches and chairs to the dump. But sometimes we just end up with things, and upon further observation of it, they're broken or we can't use them or whatever the case is. We also go through a lot of pop-up kennels. We go through a lot of them because they might start to get rusty over time, or a dog will break it or bend it to where we can't safely use it without them getting loose, things like that. So we have a ton of old kennels that are not able to be used right now that need to go to get sold off for scrap. So we can use help with that right now. If anybody is able to do something like that. Also trips to Goodwill. So if we start getting so many donations that the get to know you room is full and running over, we can bag up some of the stuff that we've had for quite some time that nobody's had interest in, and take it to Goodwill. If other shelters need stuff, we can help them out as well. So just kind of getting everything out of the shelter to other areas if it needs to, and then of course keeping up with basic maintenance and things like that. All of that stuff is options. I guess I didn't put it on here. Maybe it's, I'll hold off in case I did. Okay, so going back to Pet Supplies Plus, this is the social media post that you will see on Facebook and Instagram. But Ben's email is on here. You guys can take a screenshot of this if you're interested in helping out at Pet Supplies Plus. It is off of 337, so if you live in that area, super convenient, especially since they have different hours than us, so you have some extended time to help out over there. Yes, this is you get volunteer hour credit. This is through HSMBA, not through Pet Supplies Plus. So if you're interested in this opportunity, definitely reach out to Ben. He's fantastic. He's going to show you the ropes and make sure that you're comfortable in helping out over there. There is discussions happening about maybe us branching into some other storefronts, that having them house some cats for us, but all of that, once we determine where we go with that, I'll be able to update you with that information as it becomes available. And then again with events, so helping out at events, we have events every single month, usually every single week. We have a lot of events that are going to happen every single year. We always do Tats for Tails. We always do Faith and Piercings and Wassail Fest and the Ren Fair and all kinds of things. So when you volunteer at a fundraiser, example Ren Fair, that's the most recent one we did, I believe. Anything that charges admission, you will get in for free if you're volunteering. So it's a kind of a great way to get a little extra incentive if there's an event coming up. Oh, my dog. That you plan to visit anyways, but this way you get in for free because you're actually, multitasking by helping the shelter as well. Lots of things out there every year. So we might be doing pet supply donation drives where we're just collecting dog and cat supplies or monetary donations. Could be adoption events, where we take dogs or cats or both to try to get them adopted out on site. Or it could just be basic outreach, similar to the photo, just setting up some tables with all of our information and all the opportunities that people can help with as far as volunteering, fostering, donating, all of that good stuff. So there's a lot of things here, especially these are great for weekend opportunities, including Sunday. We will have Sunday events, usually at least one every month or every couple of months. So that kind of helps you get in on Sundays as well if you are only available on that day. And then our big event for this year is going to be Pet Palooza. This is going to be our tentative date. I don't think anything's changed. It is going to be Saturday, June 12th. We need help now with volunteers helping us with sales, finding sponsors, going around town, kind of passing out flyers and things like that. I don't believe we have the flyers yet, but when we do, we'll need volunteers handing those out. We're going to need to make sure we have plenty of volunteers sharing social media posts in various groups on Facebook, Instagram. We have places that are donating raffle baskets. We need volunteers to go around collecting those, or even trying to get some more from different businesses that we haven't talked to yet. And then, of course, the day of the event, we're going to need a ton of volunteers on site. There is not a sign up for the event as far as different slots and stuff yet. But this particular sign up you see on here underneath Pet Palooza, that is, if you're interested in volunteering for Pet Palooza, go to that link. I don't know if I can, I'll try and share that link in the comments. But if you guys can help in any capacity with fundraising, sales, all of that good stuff, right now, go to that link, sign up, honestly, under anything, just to give me an idea of your interest, or you can email me, let me know you're interested. If you have any experience in sales and fundraising, we need you desperately. So definitely sign up to help with that. Get with me, let me know. We are having Zoom meetings every couple months in regards to this to check in. Staff is on there, myself included, board members. That way we can see where we're at, see what we still need to do and get moving forward. But we do need a lot more volunteers to help us pull this off, because it is expected to be a very, very large event, and we want it to be very successful so we can continue doing it each year and raise some money for the pets that keep coming in every single day. So all right, so I guess I kind of didn't, let me go back here. What was I going to mention in regards to, other tasks? Currently, you can come in if you're an artist. No, you don't have to be an amazing artist. If you're enjoying art, you love creating art, you can come in. We have all the back hallways completely bare canvas. You can paint a mural on there. You can choose a door that has nothing on it yet. It's just a blank beige door. You can paint something on one of them. If you want a ceiling tile, you can either paint it in the shelter or you can take it home and paint it. Now, if you're painting in the shelter, I have all the paints and brushes that you should need already available for you. You can use them. If you choose to take a tile home to paint and then bring back, you'll have to use your own paints. Just because I do have some art happening in the shelter right now. So I need to have those paints available for them. But if you are wanting to do any artwork, I mean, I am all about turning that shelter into, animal shelter / community art exhibit. So you can definitely put any painting you want in the shelter as long as it's family friendly, pet themed, appropriate, happy. We want lots and lots of happy. It not only keeps everybody's spirits up among staff, visitors, but I'm sure the pets enjoy it too. Maybe not, but I like to think they do. So, lots of opportunities for you guys. So, if you ever have any questions, you guys are always welcome to reach out to me. My email, of course, you probably have it. I did receive the office phone number, so that number actually goes to the shelter phone. When you put in my extension, it is going to reroute to my cell phone, and you are going to be able to reach me. So, as long as I'm working, I will take your call. Again, I've told you guys in the past, I don't care if you're just looking for toilet paper, give me a call. I will tell you where it's at. Whatever you guys need help with, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're at the shelter, maybe it's super busy day, you can't find a staff member to help you, call me. I will help you. I will walk you through it. Um, Otherwise, just email me if you're more comfortable with that. Whatever you need, I am here to answer your questions. I will be putting this video onto our Facebook volunteer resources page, so you guys are going to be able to view this indefinitely. Okay, so thank you guys for taking the time to watch this, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.